Welcome back to the Random Onion. And for today's video, we are going to be doing a Q&A video about some of the stories we have been releasing alongside of Scary Juju. So without further ado, this is actually take 2 of this video. The original recording of this video, I was going to try and actually record me talking like face to face with you guys, but the audio in that video is horrible and I regret making it. So this is take 2. Alright, so for the first question, well, it's not really a question. It says, "Oh yeah, this is a pleasant surprise." My dad said the same thing about me. The next question is from I Am Perplexed 4695. I believe this was on the 9th Roman Legion Part 3 video. It says, "Is there a cheesy fantasy trope that you didn't shove into this garbage?" No, there's not. This next one was a response to I Am Perplexed 4695 on the 9th Roman Legion video. It says, "Could you please provide a short list of the tropes used in this story and how, in your opinion, they are cheesy? We all would seriously benefit from your knowledge and expertise, if you are capable of providing such information." Well, I Am Perplexed 4695 couldn't, so I will. In this story, there are dragons, there is King Arthur, there are magic swords, there are a bunch of other just random fantasy tropes that I decided to put in there because, I lack the ability to have original thoughts. This question is on the Gunslinger story arc. Ed Magic Pyro Ninja says, "You tried to stop the bad guy from killing the person who has to do the spell to save us all, and then she didn't do her job because she was upset that you died. So it's your fault that we all failed. So does that mean if you let her die, then they would have succeeded?" Yeah, no, they wouldn't have succeeded if he let her die. But that being said, a regular gun probably wouldn't have killed Megan anyways. And she was already kind of emotionally distraught because they are dealing with Lilith. And if you guys listen to part 3 of the 9th Roman Legion story, Lilith murdered Megan's mentor, like straight up. So she's already probably not in the best state emotionally, and then some random dude just died trying to save her. So that's me attempting to explain this away. Probably not doing a very good job, honestly. This was actually a really, really good question, and you did actually get me there. So I will admit that. But, like I said, I did my best to try to explain it anyways. This next question is from Magic Pyro Ninja as well. It says, "Either there's more to the story than we are told to hear, or the Van Helsings were extremely disproportional in their response." Yeah, the Van Helsings were extremely disproportional in their response. That is exactly the reason that Vlad Tepes went crazy and became a bad guy. This next question is from Tommy Boston 1453. It says, "Where does the inspiration for these stories come from? How do you come up with these great stories, and what's the process? Thank you." The inspiration for these stories, a lot of them, a lot of the characters at least, are heavily, heavily, heavily inspired by friends and family that I know. I'm not going to say who's inspired by who, just for my friends' privacy sake, But they are aware that there are characters in my books that are inspired by them, and they responded well to it. A lot of them are happy, I guess you could say that. As far as the writing process goes, it's a lot of planning. I've been planning this entire story since I was in high school, and I am 27 years old now. So if that says anything, then well, there you go. It's just a lot of planning and then doing. There's some procrastination mixed in there because I have focusing issues. This next question is from KKiwi1122. It says, "Loved it. Now I gotta go back and listen to Rebellion in Hell. Kind of confused by the ending and the whole thing with Father Time's actions." I think this may have been on one of the Hellion Rebellion videos. It may have been on the final part of the Ninth Roman Legion. Uh, Father Time's actions will be explained later on down the line. There is a reason that Father Time does every little thing that he does. The way his powers work is that he can take uh, he can see just about every possible outcome to a decision, or I guess if that makes any sense. But yeah, that's Father Time. That what he sees, the futures he sees, the possible futures he sees, are kind of what guides his decision making in everything he does. So, like I said, there is a reason behind everything that Father Time does, and it'll all make sense, I promise. The next question is from YB554. It says, Robin Hood. This question was put at the end of the final Ninth Roman Legion video, and he's asking if Sergeant Loxley is Robin Hood. And the short answer is yes. The long answer is that character will be popping in and out over the next couple of stories that you guys hear. So get ready for him. This question is from Aaron Paulus, 3492. It says, are the events in I'll Never Watch Shark Week Again part of the storyline? Yes, they are. And whether they are very, very important or not, that still remains to be seen. I will say that I hope you guys liked Adrian Stein because he is a massive part of the story moving forward. This next one is from Caroline Werner, 9773. It says, so I thought Keith would be his grandson, LOL, and we would find out about the gunslinger story in hell. The gunslinger, Ken Sullivan, ended up in purgatory. He didn't end up in hell. He is still currently in purgatory at this point in the storyline. That being said, Keith is not Marcus's grandson either. Keith is a descendant of an actual angel. He is the literal son of an angel. He's a Nephilim. Yeah. Marcus's grandson is Trent Grayson, aka Nemesis. Which, I mean, I hope you guys like Nemesis because he is going to be sticking around for a long, long time. This next question is from Julius Frederick 1813. This was at the end of the, I want to say the Hellion Rebellion storyline. It says, you are an awesome and welcome talent. I think I'd have to go with Marcus. I asked who everyone's favorite character was. It says, I think I'd have to go with Marcus. That's the OG 15-year-old Roman soldier, right? He's from the Ninth Roman Legion. Second, I would have to go with Abel. Obviously, he's not a main protag, and a lot of backstory needs to be flushed out, but I'm more than sure it'll be dope all the same. Also, Nemesis is the former CIA agent, correct? Yes, he is. Was the last installment of his series the first mention of the familial ties between him and Marcus, or did I just miss that in his origin story? LOL. Anyway, KG, phenomenal work in creating the universe, and Juju, that's a nickname of mine, by the way, ha. Amazing job bringing it to life, or giving it a voice, so to speak. LOL. Keep grinding. Yeah, that story, the last part of the Ninth Roman Legion is the first time that we're mentioning the familial ties between Trent Grayson and Marcus. There will be mention of it in the next Trent Grayson story, which is actually in the works right now. I finished writing it. I just sent it over to Scary Juju. There's going to be a lot of talk about Trent's family. You're going to get to meet more of the Grayson family lineage. Also, I hope you guys like the Greek and Norse gods because they're going to play a heavy role in that story. This next question is from Arichio7222. I probably butchered that. Are you going to continue with his grandson, and will they end up fighting side by side in the future? This is one heck of a story, and you should try for a movie because what is coming out now sure ain't close to great work. I'm not pulling your leg. I believe it would be a great movie, especially now they don't have any good writers in Hollywood, it seems. All they are doing is remakes, and those suck. Yeah, I agree about the remakes part, obviously. If you guys have ever watched us do the list, I'm sure we talk about remakes and Marvel movies a lot. Um, as to your question, Trent and Marcus, they may fight side by side in the future. They may never even meet each other. We'll see. I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm not going to introduce two characters that are family and not have them interact. I mean, what kind of writer would I be if I did that? This question was put on the finale of the Hellion Rebellion story. This next question is from KKiwi1122. It says, "Great story. I like all the characters, but I think Nemesis is my favorite. My question is, where is Lucifer during this whole Civil War? I remember his arm got cut off, but there really hasn't been much else said about him, unless I missed something." That is actually a great question. And the answer to that question is that I know where Lucifer is because I'm the writer, but I also don't want to spoil anything. So that question will be answered eventually. I will say he does play a factor into the story at some point moving forward, like, a lot of the other characters do. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. He is one of the more interesting characters. He's one of the more complex characters, and he's actually going to get an entire story arc. Uh, yeah, so he will be back. He is still around. He's not dead. This next one is from Jim Gussinger2846. Absolutely love the series. Couldn't have a better narrator. I hope there's a final epic battle with the gunslinger, the Roman legionnaire, and the dude from the CIA. Hoping it goes about 6 hours. It'll be tough to fit it into an hour and a half or two. Trying to say I will wait patiently. The jacked up about it. If you're looking for a big crossover event, um, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Like I said, like I keep saying in this video, I don't want to spoil anything. So, yeah, I'm jacked up about it too. And the last question is from Bob Salty Nation Berserker 7685. Love the story and themes, and the 9th story was tits. Nice. What's next? So, yeah, what is next? As of right now, the next major story that I have with Scary Juju is going to be a follow-up to the Nemesis story. It's going to be another story from Trent's POV. That being said, there will be stories in the future that might feature Trent where he's not the POV character. We've also got a couple of smaller stories coming out with Scary Juju that are just kind of small scale. You get to know some of the side characters a little bit better, and that's kind of the point of those stories. Also, after the Nemesis story is over, I'm working on another story that is basically the next chapter in David Stone's saga. It's going to be a story revolving around David Stone and Marcus as they get caught up in what basically amounts to a multiversal fighting tournament. I'm not going to give too many details about that away, but it's going to be bloody, it's going to be spectacular, and it's going to be a great time. Following that story, the next bigger project I'm going to work on is a World War II themed story. At the end of the 9th Roman Legion, we were introduced to a group called Pendragon. So I really, really, really want to tell their story. I'm not sure how long that one's going to take me to write. I do have the first chapter of it done, I guess you could say. Following that, though, we're going to have our big, big, big event. And I don't want to get into too much detail of it, but this big event will involve some... there's going to be a big story that goes over to Scary Juju that he's going to do, and we're going to do a bunch of tie-in narrations and stuff like that on our channel. Like I said, I don't want to get too far into it because I don't want to spoil anything, but it's going to be the biggest story that we've done so far. It's also going to introduce the final POV character of this entire series. So when I say POV character, I mean like major POV character. I don't mean like some of these smaller stories, like the guy from the Shark Week story and whatnot, like the little stories. I mean, like the big stories, like Gunslinger, Nemesis, the Ninth Roman Legion, and Hellion Rebellion. I mean, major stories. But yeah, that's what we've got cooking up in the future. There are a bunch of other small projects that we're working on that we're going to get done, but that's what you can expect to see from us. And yeah, that's all I have for today on this video. So yeah, remember to like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the future. Nice.